an 88-minute movie where you can conceivably cut 30 minutes out and you wouldn't lose anything.
Welcome back to Movie Rewind. I am your host, Michael Jennison, and with me today, a man who's been begging to be on this pod for years. You guys might know him as Stretch. Welcome to the pod, Harrison Milacek. Milacek?
There you go.
It's either or, right? Tomato, tomato?
No, I mean, it's Milacek, but I'll accept either.
I thought your grandfather calls it something else. Milacek.
Check. Yeah, and wanted to be on back when it was in its glory day. I feel like I'm really coming into this in like the last stretches. Like,
This is the equivalent of like when half the members are dead of a band and then you come in and be like the bassist. This is exactly that scenario.
Yeah, Keegan died off and now it's just...
Keegan was on 2 episodes ago.
You're just bringing in shitty covers.
I should have let Keegan know that you're going to be on. He might have actually came on for this. And then he would have heard the movie and would have been like, no, I'm not doing this. So what were you going to say?
It's free on Tubi. He can watch right now. We can reschedule for 2 hours from now. Get him in here.
So for the month of October, instead of doing rewinds, working title, but we're going to do re-booze. You like that? Re-booze.
Catchy.
Essentially what we're going to be doing is I'm going to bring a guest on and I'm going to ask them one simple question. What's your favorite horror movie / Halloween movie? And let's rewind it. And so I proposed it to my buddy Harrison here. And Harrison, do you want to say what movie you picked for us today?
I picked the Lair, the White Worm, the 1988 supernatural comedy horror based on the Bram Stoker novel. So yeah, did not realize you were saying favorite horror movie when you brought it to my attention. You kind of just told me I was doing The Thing, which is a movie that is talked about way too much probably for even though it is very good. And
yeah, I didn't necessarily give you a choice off the rip because I was afraid that you were going to pick something very campy. And so the other people that I reached out to, I gave them free reign. I didn't give you free reign. And then I told you that, I'm having people pick their favorite horror movie. And then you're like, well, I'm not going to pick The Thing then. And so now this is how we ended up with an extremely campy movie, The Lair of the White Worm. I've never seen it before.
It's a fun movie, It's I wanted to take this opportunity to maybe educate people on a lesser known movie.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I'm cool with it. I mean, this is the first time I saw this movie. I assume you've seen this movie before, right?
Yeah, it like came up on, it's on Tubi for free. So if you're listening, you can watch it at will.
It's on Amazon for free too, Harrison. You just got to watch 2 minutes and 30 seconds of ads at the beginning and then halfway in the middle. That's how I watched it.
I think Tubi might be owned by Amazon, so that might make sense.
There you go.
That might also just be completely not factual, but...
Or Tubi owns Amazon. Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Yeah, I watched it this morning, Sunday morning, pretty dang tired, but it flew by. It's only 88 minutes. I just did a time check when the second ad popped up, and I was like, oh shit, I'm halfway through this movie. Flies by. And it's a very young Hugh Grant. His first movie he's ever done?
It was before Four Weddings and a Funeral, so it was before he kind of got popular. And then also Peter Capaldi, who would go on to be the Doctor in the future if you follow Doctor Who.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, so both like super, super, super young. Probably both regret doing this movie.
No, they got a good payday. The director is like a well-known director. He was nominated for a Best Picture movie.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, for I forget the name of it. I should know this.
Ken Russell. Best known for Academy Award-winning drama film Woman in Love and historic. Yeah. So he had already won his Academy Award before doing this movie.
I don't think he won. He was nominated.
Okay, you're right. That movie won an Academy Award, but he himself did not win.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, we can get into it. Harrison, I will say that I think that this movie was a good choice. I think it's campy as all hell. It's it's entertaining as shit. Like this is a fun movie to watch around this time of year.
Yeah.
I think most people, well, I shouldn't say most people. Ken Russell was nominated for Best Director in 1969. I wouldn't say most people would like this movie, but I do think that a lot of people would find this very entertaining. You just have to, you got to have fun with it, not take it too serious. And if you don't take it too serious, it's fine. It's pretty funny. There's a scene with a pen and Hugh Grant that is just so funny, comical, juvenile, all the above.
Have a lot of innuendo in this movie. The first hour,
I'm not even sure if they're innuendos, Harrison.
It might be heavy-handed innuendo, okay?
But let's start talking about the movie. I did like it though, actually. Like you described it to me, and it was kind of exactly what I was thinking it was going to be, but not in a bad way. And it's just it takes place in London-ish. London countryside.
Yeah, the countryside of England.
I like how I would just call everything in England London. It takes place in the England countryside. I assume current day, 1988. I guess we could start off by just, there's a 10-minute archaeologist scene where he uncovers this random big bone. I'm never really quite sure you got to help me with the plot here, Harrison, because to be honest, I'm not really sure what that bone represented. But
did you watch the movie? It's central to the plot. Like,
yeah, but the first, I mean, we can get into spoilers. What's confusing to me, Harrison, is that the worm's still alive.
So that's a little bit of a. I agree. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay. Because I should say the opening archaeology scene is cool. Harrison texted me as he was watching it live saying there's an opening archaeology scene, and then what'd you say, grunge punk scene?
First 10 movies the first 10 minutes of this movie is all exposition, and usually when it's just it doesn't do a very good job of show don't tell. It's a lot of tell don't show. But despite that, it's incredibly entertaining for the first 10 minutes. It opens with the archaeology dig. And part of what's entertaining is the sisters in this movie have just like the most obnoxious, like Liverpudlian accents. And the director must have told them just to make it like a John Lennon like copycat and go as over the top as you possibly can. And it, like, for the first 10 minutes, it's charming. And then after that, it quickly becomes annoying.
I will say that I actually found all of this to be really charming. I'm like Keegan. I'm a sucker for an accent. I think, I mean, it really goes with like the folklore aspect of it, that you have these thick Liverpudlian accents. It really helped. Like I wanted just to kind of curl up on my couch and watch a movie, and that's what I did here. But like it there's something very inviting about those voices.
Yeah,
I do agree it's harsh, but I liked it. I think it really set the stage.
Yeah, and then obviously you go into the 2-minute rock solo or whatever it is, where they just
such a good song. Such a good song. I assume it's original because the lyrics have to do.
It's a real song. So this story is based off of real English folklore, and I guess the song is about the real English folklore.
Okay.
Obviously, just changed slightly to fit like the Downton worm as opposed to whatever the real worm story was.
But I will say that really cool, really great song. Like a really great song. I was so happy when it came back on at the end for the post credits. I was like, yeah. One more time, but really good. I mean, and then you like Hugh Grant's acting out, slicing the worm and stuff, and you think you're getting a whole lot of foreshadowing early on about what's going to take place, because you assume that this worm's going to make an appearance somewhere, because, like you said, it was pretty. It feels like it's all foreshadowing the first 15 minutes, and then we get introduced to Hugh Grant, who his name in this movie is.
It's just Hugh Grant.
I blew past the cast. It's Lord James Dampton. His great-grandfather was the one who slayed the worm in the first place, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Then you have Amanda Doneho playing Lady Sylvia Marsh. I
She's
don't know
kind of
which
like
one.
the head priestess of the snake that she's trying to resurrect.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm sorry. I guess that makes sense that she's first in cast. So we haven't been introduced to her yet. Then we have Catherine Oxberg, who's playing Eve Trent, and then Sammy Davis playing Mary Trent. I can't tell you which one's which. It's not really that important. And then you have Peter Capaldi, who's playing a Scottish archaeologist, who's also, I think, dating Mary Trent, and Laura
I
James is dating Eve Trent, or they're all just like really good friends with a lot of sexual
Yeah, I don't quite know if
bubbles
they're
underneath.
together.
What'd
Yeah,
you
and,
say?
and I don't know if they're quite together. And then of course, Peter Capaldi is named Angus, just the most like stereotypic Scottish name ever.
Is
And
he Scottish in real life?
I don't know actually.
Because if he's not, it was a really good
Yeah,
Scottish accent.
yeah, he's
He
from
is Scottish.
Glasgow.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I should also say we're drinking beer. Man, you could tell I did sleep much last night driving back from Napa to San Diego. But I am drinking Grins Oktoberfest. I think this is a local brewery. What are you drinking?
Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
Yeah, and you know
Good
what?
old basic, yeah, Oktoberfest.
I told Harrison, hey, tell me what beer you're getting. I'm gonna try to get the same. And then he got that. And then which is like you can get that anywhere, you could find that pretty much anywhere. Um, and then I was going to grab a beer, and then I actually had that beer in my hand, and like I was just like busy running around the place, not really looking at my phone, trying to make sure that I wasn't going to be super late to this recording. And then I ended up grabbing this Oktoberfest as I was leaving because I'm like, this looks a lot better. And then I looked down my phone, and Harrison got the Sam Adams. So we're drinking different beers, and that's on me. I'll wear that.
We'll never
Um,
recover.
Sam Adams Oktoberfest isn't very good though, so I'm kind of glad I'm not drinking it. Sucks to suck.
I'd argue that it's a pretty decent beer.
It's fine. This one's like outside of LA. This brewery.
Didn't realize
All
you're
right,
a
Harry. And then
California
so,
snob.
what'd you say?
California snob only likes the local.
Absolutely, complete West Coast coastal elitist. Says the man who's currently says my guest who's currently sitting in Jersey, New York City,
Manhattan.
Manhattan. Yeah, douche. Little Manhattan studio apartment. Ooh.
Yeah, I actually saw this film with the Angelica earlier.
I don't even know what that is. That's how uncultured I am. So anyways, back to the matter at hand. We finally get introduced. Like, there's a really weird scene. Are they dating? I guess I want to say that.
I think so. Capaldi's character is there for the archaeology dig, and he's staying at the sisters' bed and breakfast. So that's
Mm-hmm.
how he's hooked up with the sisters. And then to give a little bit more of like the plot, the parents of the sisters have like disappeared sometime before this movie started. It's kind of ambiguous. I think maybe a year or so ago. And
Yeah, but
so
soon it's still current enough to where they're currently still looking for them.
exactly. So that's kind of like a big plot point throughout the early part of this movie is the sisters are grieving the parents. And then Capaldi's character is trying to, I think, ingratiate himself a little bit, trying to hook up with the one sister.
Yeah, I mean, so the one scene they're like kissing behind the
Yeah.
tree while they're like also like
Well,
looking for
yeah, like
things.
looking for her like dead parents. It's kind of a weird.
Yeah, a lot of this movie's weird, but that's when we first. So, anyways, they see a headlight. They see a car driving without headlights on. They notify a police officer, and that police officer goes to check it out. And that's where we first get introduced to Lady Sylvia Marsh. Um, and you can just tell instantly that she's clearly up to no good because she like sucks. The cop gets bit by a snake, and then she sucks out the venom of his snake. And so they're not really trying to hide it. What's going on really early on in this movie? You kind of realize that either she's a vampire, either she's part of the worm, maybe she's the worm reincarnated, something along those lines. I'm still not even sure as after watching it exactly what she is, but a great character. I mean, right from the rip, I was like, this is a very captivating character. Um, extremely seductive to her prey. And so that's kind of the first tip of the iceberg you get. And then, I don't know, anything to add there, Harrison, before we jump to, I guess, the little boy getting picked up, right? That's probably the next scene.
Yeah, one other thing I thought it was kind of a cool visual. The car shows up and it just looks like a snake, like kind of car a little bit.
Yeah, no,
So
they're
they're heavily leaning into the fact that like she is something to do with the like snake being undone.
yes, no, there's a lot of good snake, like they find a watch of the Trent's daughter's father, and like it turns into like a serpent as they're looking at it. There's a lot of like maybe obvious, but there's a lot of signs that like this snake's around. Um, and so next we get a young boy who's trying to hitch a ride with somebody, and Lady Sylvia Marsh picks him up. And this is when I realized, this is why Harrison picked this movie. I mean, it's a good scene. It's funny. It's really funny.
Yeah.
They're playing
Just all
shoots and
double
ladders, but
entendre.
instead of there being slides, there's serpents. Um, yeah, and like he's
Everything's a
just
double entendre. Like he's just yeah. He's just a poor innocent boy. Doesn't know
she's
what's
wearing
going
like
on.
she goes home and like puts on lingerie.
She's wearing like a dominatrix outfit. Like
She eventually puts on a dominatrix outfit, yeah, and like she's like, let me give you a bath and you can like stay over or whatever. And yeah, it's just this very innocent, nice young lad. And then when he's getting bathed, she helps clean him, and then certainly bites him somewhere off screen as you're seeing his face. I think the guy thinks that he's going to, I don't know, get some oral pleasure. Anyways, so she bites him, and then he goes completely paralyzed, and that's when it's
yep.
revealed that she is a snake. I thought she was the actual worm, but I think she's just like a different creature altogether, right? She like
She's
worships the worm.
yeah, she works so she's like the head priestess for the worm like god.
Okay, so she's
So
like, yeah,
but like she's immortal. So like she's basically like an evil monster, but
in her own,
also like human. Yeah.
yeah. And so, anyways, like Venom of a snake, he essentially can't talk. He's essentially, yeah, probably can't breathe eventually.
Well, like
And so, yeah,
paralyzed.
paralyzed.
And then she drowns him because they get interrupted by the doorbell, you know.
Yeah. And we find out that she makes a comment about him being a virgin. I don't think she necessarily reveals her plan yet, but we realize that she wanted him because he was a virgin. We don't really know why yet. And yeah, and so the door rings. It's Hugh Grant. And then the next like 15, 20 minutes, Harrison, I really don't understand why it's in the movie. Like the Hugh Grant scene, they kiss and then they go on a flight together. And then, other than like being highly entertaining, I don't think it matters anything to the plot, right?
No, it. Did you watch the movie?
I watched the movie. Enlighten me, Harry. Enlighten me.
So first of all, she tells us during the bath scene that she's killing him because she needs to resurrect the worm god. Like that's
Oh,
just it's blatantly spelled out.
is that where she says that? I thought
Yeah,
she said it a little
yeah.
bit later on. Okay, I thought
No,
I thought it was when she was talking to the Trent woman.
so she doesn't say. I don't think she says anything about needing to be like a virginal sacrifice, but she's like, I need to kill somebody to bring back this worm, and like,
Okay,
sucks for you.
okay,
You're the guy. And
okay.
then Hugh Grant shows up, and like to me, the point of that scene is to show like Hugh Grant is slowly sussing out that there's like something on here. You know, I think the big part of his plot is like trying to live up to his family legacy of slaying this worm.
Mm.
And yeah, it's him kind of figuring out something's a little off here. And then he goes back home and has the dream sequence where he's on a plane for some reason, and he's like oddly aroused by this, worm woman who's the stewardess and some other stewardess who I don't think is one of the main characters in the show. She's just there,
I don't think so. And then they wrestle. The two women wrestle.
and he lifts a pen.
And it's a red pen. And it slowly gets more and more upright as he's
There's
watching
no
it.
subtlety in this movie. It is
There's
as
no subtlety.
unsubtle as you could
It's so
possibly
heavy-handed.
be.
I will say that at this scene I was cracking up.
It's hilarious.
The fact that it's Hugh Grant too makes it so good.
I do think the acting performances in this movie are legitimately like pretty good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's its saving, like, not its saving grace, but like it's campy as hell, but a lot of really campy movies are also like terribly acted.
Mhm.
And like and sometimes you feel like they're not in on the campiness almost at times. Here you always felt like they were in on the joke. They
Oh
were
yeah.
in on how ridiculous this movie was.
Well, and it also makes sense that like three of the cast went on to be like very successful actors.
Yeah, and the fact that this director was nominated for a Academy Award 19 years before this movie came out, I didn't realize that. I mean, yeah, there's some
There's some decent practical effects in this as well. Like,
yeah,
um,
almost like a Hitchcock movie. It's shot like a Hitchcock movie. And like it's 1988, so the effects could have been better, but it almost feels like they wanted this to feel like a 60s movie,
yeah,
or they really wanted this to feel super campy.
they,
Either
they were
way,
they were certainly going after like a B movie aesthetic. Like, I don't think
yeah.
that's up for debate. You know, they're trying to make a monster flick, like the
Yeah.
great horror movies of old.
No, I agree. I agree. Look, I thought that sequence was really funny. I don't know if it drove the plot, but it's
This is
fun.
an 80. This is an 88-minute movie where you can conceivably cut 30 minutes out and you wouldn't lose anything.
You could cut 45 minutes out.
I legitimately think like this movie, if you cut out, we'll get into this maybe a little bit later, but if you cut out some of the sex scenes and cut it down to like PG-13, I think it would have been like much more enjoyable in terms of like a wider studio release.
Yeah. No,
Because like the first like 45 minutes, like if you disregard some of the Kevin stuff, like nothing's like overtly racy about it, I would say.
no. Yeah, and also like she could be like a seductive snake monster, who like lures her prey in there. Um, but they didn't necessarily need to go over the top with it as much as they do. And yeah, I kind of do think that this movie probably could have been held to higher regards pretty easily, because I do think that there's a lot here to make it work. So the next scene here, which is actually, I think this is probably the worst scene in the movie as far as like badness, explicitness. This is like I wouldn't want to show this to my momness. Um, is when she spits on the
Oh
crucifix
yeah, yeah, yeah,
lady,
yeah.
and then one of the Trent sisters, I think it's Eve Trent, when she touches it, then it's a shot of Jesus getting crucified, and then the nuns like crying, and then the Roman soldiers rape him.
Yeah. Yeah, it like kind of comes out of nowhere too. Like I said, up until then it's just like this fun campy romp where there's like a little bit of explicitness, but like nothing like overtly like
Yeah, because even with the little boy, I shouldn't say little boy, he's probably a teenager. He's probably 18 for the sake of the movie. Um, you don't see anything, right? There's no
no.
nudity. It's all kind of, it's fine. This scene was like, damn, all right, they really went for it here.
I'd actually say there's like no like sexiness to any of the nudity in this movie, like
Oh no,
like
I
at
don't
all.
I don't really think so. No. Yeah, and like they pick weird times to have nudity in this movie and weird times
Yeah.
not to. Um but yeah, so then you're like, damn, all right, they're going for it now. This is
Yeah,
no holding back.
blaspheming Christ pretty quickly right there.
Yeah, pretty early on. Pretty early on. Um and so then we go
Yeah,
to
unfortunately, this is also kind of getting to the point of the back half of this movie is a lot less fun and memorable than the front half. But I think where it went from here is it goes into them exploring the cave. So there's this supposed cave where they found the watch that they think is the lair of this worm. Hugh Grant's character has like this mural painted in his house of the worm getting slayed on this hill. with a mountainous cave on it, and he's starting to suss out like this is where the dragon is, or a worm, and they go and explore it, and they kind of come up with this plan of, okay, we know that there's something suspicious here. Let's go kill this high priestess and worm before it can start causing chaos in the town.
Yeah. And this is when the Trent sister then gets kidnapped after
Yep.
this,
So
right?
she has, in classic English fashion, they send her back to the house to get tea because that's just the way they're going to
Yeah.
progress the plot, to get her on her own.
Of course. Of course. It's like, what's a way to split up the group? Well, they need tea at
Yeah.
some point. Yeah.
So she goes to walk back to the house to get tea, and on her walk back to the house, she gets stopped by the snake lady, Donahoe, and brought back to the manor and brainwashed. And it's at that point determined that she's going to be the new sacrifice to resurrect the worm.
Yeah. She has to find out if she's a
Yeah.
virgin.
Also,
Which
a
is done.
crazy scene in the fact that like she's just in a tanning bed for no reason whatsoever for this.
There's no reason. And like, aren't vampires scared of light?
I mean, she's not even. She's just a snake. I guess like she's under a solar lamp. I
I
guess
guess she.
that's like the comp.
Oh, I guess she's a snake. You're right. She's not a vampire. And I guess they like heat,
Yeah.
right? That kind of makes sense. But yeah, it's unnecessary, right? It's ridiculous. Like she brainwashes her and then she goes into a tanning booth. And then there's a scene where she's in a tanning booth and she tells the other Trent daughter to strip. And then she like sticks like this big horn thing up the Trent daughter and she's like, "Oh, you are a virgin. Okay, let's
Very odd.
you will you will be a good sacrifice." I know. I mean, once again, like ridiculous seed, funny seed, ridiculous seed. But then you're like, damn, all right. So shit's about to happen. They're gonna sacrifice Eve Trent, and this is when they finally start to kind of put the piece together that Lady Sylvia is probably the snake, right?
I think they've at this point
Like,
realized.
right, like and this is the point where I think they're like, okay, she is the snake, right? Or at least they had a good hunch.
Yeah, I think at this point they realized, and so they have the plan to kind of lure the snake out using some music played over a speaker.
Yeah, like the classic snake music that you hear people play that like causes them to like come out of
Yeah, like a snake
their
charmer.
little weaver basket. Yes. And so they start blasting that music outside of their house, entertaining. And she actually pops out of the basket, I guess because that's what she sleeps in. That was a
Yeah,
funny scene.
like they found every trope they could
And
and just played right into it.
yeah, and I think she's even wearing like snake skin clothes in this
Yeah,
scene too. It's at least very black in sequence. And so, anyways, she leaves the house, and the Trent, the other Trent daughter, and the archaeologists break into her house when she's gone, and this is where they randomly find the Trent's
just
mom.
turned into a snake lady. Yeah, out of nowhere, like no context to set this up. You know, no foreshadowing. It's just they go into the house and the mom's there, and the mom bites.
I didn't even know the mom was. I didn't know if the mom was missing or not. I thought just the dad was missing until this scene. They don't even really talk about the mom.
Yeah, but yeah, the one sister goes mom and runs over, and the mom bites her, and
Yeah.
the Angus scares off the mom, and then they just kind
Yeah.
of leave that plot line
And then
alone,
sucks the venom out
and
of
it cuts back to
Mary Trent. And then
Culloden.
the music still plays, and then back to where Hugh Grant is, Lord James. He pulls out a sword, and the mom ends up finally coming back, and he slays the mom. And then the effects in that scene are really good too, where like the two halves are still like going around, kind of like that. Um, um, and then we find out that Hugh Grant like goes to prison, or maybe goes to prison.
Yeah, well, The cop. So we kind of skipped over this, but earlier in the movie, the cop was turned right into a snake. Or
Yeah,
I guess we find out.
we
We find
think.
out. We find out now that the cop was turned into a snake. So he's working with the snake lady to try and conspire against Hugh Grant.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So the cop picks up Mary Trent, and we find out that he's also a snake. And then it's one of the funniest chase scenes ever. she's she's like she's trying to like leave a property that's closed off by gates, and like she's just like running back and forth in front of the police officer.
Yeah. Yeah, also great casting for that police officer. Just an odd looking kind of dude. Like,
Yeah, he has like a lazy eye.
yeah, but he's just kind of heavy set guy in the countryside of England, sleepy town officer,
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
and plays the part really
Um
well.
yeah. And then yeah, is running back and forth like yeah, I don't know. I started chuckling to myself at how ridiculous this chase scene was. And then the archaeologist dude, he starts playing bagpipes because he said he was going to do some research and figure out like what to do. And so he learns that the bagpipes will work. So he uses bagpipes to cause the cop, who's now a snake, to follow him. And then this is also a hilarious chase scene. And it ends up with this is my favorite death. The cop falls backwards on like a metal like spike, and it goes right through his eyeball.
Yeah, yeah, kind of out of nowhere, just like falls over. Very gruesome death scene. Like,
Yeah, that was my favorite death.
yeah, I agree.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I think so as well. It's visceral. Once again, like all of the like throughout this whole movie, like it's a funny movie, and then there's just these spliced scenes of just like outrageous, like gruesomeness interspitting with it. Like,
Yeah, no, for sure. Like the movie kind of, I don't know. I don't know if it lulls you to sleep, but then I'll randomly there'll be like a very explicit sex scene, or there'll be just a random gruesome death. Everything feels so out of
and then
place,
it goes back to
which I
them,
think is
and then it goes
intentional.
back to them cracking jokes every 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, with like thick accents. And then finally, out of nowhere, like out of like a stairwell, we find out that Lady Sylvia Marsh is in the house with the archaeologist, and she was wearing hearing plugs the whole entire time because we don't really know where she was for like 30 minutes of the
Yeah,
movie. So she was wearing hearing plugs the whole entire time, and she bites him. Um, she's now like fully naked and blue for whatever reason.
not relevant to the plot. Just why not? It was
Just
it
why
was the
not?
'80s. Like,
It was the 80s. They can get away with it. So let's have her just be painted blue and naked. And so she bites him, and then she has like a lair in the basement of this house. Um, and we find out that's where Mary Trent has been the whole entire time. Um, of course, she's in like lingerie, and she's about to be sacrificed to the worm. The other Trent daughter is down there too, tied up, and the archaeologist is essentially passed out from being bitten, and we think everything's about to, I don't know, about to end poorly. And then down a deep hole, we get our first glimpse of the worm, where Eve Trent is hanging over it. So my question to you is: this is where the plot
it makes no
loses
sense. It
me?
makes no sense, Mike.
Okay, it makes no sense, right?
They have to resurrect the worm, but the worm's already alive. Like, it makes no sense.
And like the head, that's when we see the
It's
archaeologist head
it's
again.
there simply because it's just a penis. Like, it's all allegory to a penis. Like, it's supposed to be a penis. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
this is where it really jumps the shark with the double entendres.
yeah. And then she's wearing a strap on
Like, it's
randomly.
bizarre world. But the thing is, there's only 10 minutes left in the movie at this point. Like,
Well, that's the thing. No, like there's literally 11 minutes
like
left. I like looked and I'm like, there's 11 minutes left. How is this going to wrap up?
it's like
And it
they
doesn't.
got to the end and they're like, all right, let's just end it.
Well, it's
they
like,
kill the woman like incredibly quickly, and then next thing you
wait,
know, Capaldi's character has a grenade.
he pulls a grenade out of his
Like, where
crotch.
did he get a grenade? And he just drops it down the hole with the worm and blows it up. Like, it happens in 5 minutes. It's a 5 minute resolution.
Yeah, he chops off her arm and then he pulls out a grenade out of his crotch and blows up the worm. And then yeah, and then the crazy thing is like Hugh Grant doesn't make an appearance. I was waiting for Hugh Grant, but the whatchamacallit, we find out that he made a whatchamacallit, anti venom. The archaeologist made an anti venom, and so we find out that he gave it to himself, and that's why he was able to like come back so quickly and slay the worm and the snake lady. And so, as they're wrapping up this movie, Hugh Grant and Lord James and Angus are reunited. They have a nice cigarette, enjoy a good, quick little convo. Just the boys hanging out, smoking a cig. James asks where the girls are, and Angus is like, they're at the hospital.
It just kind of yada,
Just dudes being
just kind of
dudes.
yada-yadaing away all the end like loose ends.
Yeah, like I think Lord James is like he tries to like make up a story on like, oh, my grandfather must have slayed the worm and then banished him to there, and then yeah, there's just like a bunch of shit that makes no sense. You're just like,
Yeah,
whatever,
you're like, this movie's ending.
fine,
Okay.
good, yeah. And then the last scene. Did you like the last scene?
I think every horror movie that ends with that kind of like, oh no, the evil's still there, but now it's like in the protagonist is always a good ending for a horror movie.
Yeah, I
I
know.
mean, with
This is how this movie had to end.
best done in the Thriller music video.
True. Same
It's
time period too.
basically stolen right from that.
This is essentially Thriller. And so he looks into the mirror. No, yeah. So apparently the anti-venom is actually it got mixed with like arthritis medication,
You
right?
tell me,
And
pharmacist.
so yeah, got mixed up with arthritis medication. And so essentially he realized that he's actually a snake. And then he like licks his lips, and then he rides in a car with Hugh Grant to go pick up the girls. But you realize that he's a snake, and also Eve Trent, who got bit by the snake lady, is also a snake because the anti venom didn't work. Um, and that's how it ends. And that's the lair of the white worm.
Look, it's got everything to me a good like Halloween horror film is either two things. It's either really scary or it's really campy and a lot of fun. And this is the latter.
I agree. I think this was extremely campy B movie, 80s B movie. It was entertaining. I don't I see why you picked it.
This is more Rocky Picture Horror Show than it is,
Yes,
Poltergeist.
then it is.
Yeah.
Then Get Out.
Yeah.
I don't know. It has a lot of similarities with Get Out. Um, how if this movie were to roll for another 15 minutes, how do you think it would have
Terrible.
went down?
Terrible. This movie needed to be under 90 minutes. All great movies are under
It did.
90 minutes or over 3 hours.
That is true. That is the sweet spot, except for The Irishman.
Yeah, true.
Um, what was your favorite character?
Hugh Grant. I mean, it's hard not to like Hugh Grant's character. He's playing that kind of like pompous ass Englishman, that he plays so
Yeah,
well. You could see where he would go on in his career to kind of be like a bit of a smarmy, smarmy but charming kind of, guy.
yeah. No, this is very Hugh Grant role before Hugh Grant was Hugh Grant. Um, I like the boy that got seduced.
poor,
I like the boy
poor
hitchhiker.
Kevin.
Poor Kevin. Was that his
That was
name,
his name.
Kevin?
Yeah, but
It was
my
Kevin.
mates call
Yeah.
me Kev.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Poor Kevin. My favorite character, probably Angus.
I like the blonde.
Angus always had a
The
plan.
blonde sister was really good too.
Not Eve, the
No,
other
the
one,
other
right? The
one.
one that gets kidnapped and
Yeah.
sacrificed. She didn't really have a story.
No, but she's the one whose name you remember.
Yeah, and then Mary, she was probably more entertaining. She didn't really go on to do much. That actress.
No, it was basically the three main stars went on to have pretty good careers, and then yeah, everyone else kind of faded to obscurity.
All right, Harry, thank you for coming on. It's been a long time coming. Happy to have you on and talk about the Lair of the White Worm. Before we go, though, Harrison, what'd you think of that Samuel Adams, that Oktoberfest?
Solid beer, gets the job done. Really good Oktoberfest, consistent quality. You're never going to go wrong.
Would you buy it in a 6-pack again?
Yeah, I've bought in a 6-pack before. I've never been disappointed.
What would you give it on Untapped? So what would you give it out of 5?
2.5, 3, maybe 3.
Wow.
Out of
Dude,
5?
So
it's dead center normal the bell curve.
Yeah, I know, but like I feel like when I'm rating beers, like a 3.5 out of 5 is like average.
Exactly.
I don't know. We all have different scales.
No, 2.5 is average. It's literally the middle.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I'm not good at rating beers.
How'd you like yours?
Honestly, not that good.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's bad, but like, you know how Oktoberfest, I feel like there's a big range in flavors, right? Flavor profile in Oktoberfest. Like you can get super, super like seasoned with it, like spices in there. And then you can also have more of like a watered down Oktoberfest, which I think Samuel Adams is kind of like a watered down.
Which is probably why I enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah, it's easy to suck down. This one, they're kind of going for it in some ways. But I'm not necessarily like loving it. I think it's very average though. I'm kind of where you are. I'm like would I buy it at a 4-pack? Comes in a 4-pack? Probably not. I wouldn't probably buy it again. I'm probably more like a 2.753 range.
Above average. When's Nosferatu?
I'm not bad at scoring.
When does Nosferatu come out?
Huh? In October, but I can't get any in Cleveland. Me and Zim might rewind Nosferatu, the 1927 Nosferatu, while we were drinking Nosferatu.
You should. That'd be electric.
In Cleveland. So in person, me and him. That'll be a 13-hour podcast, and only about 15 minutes of it will be on Nosferatu. But yeah. All right, dude. Well, it was a pleasure. Any last shots, any parting shots about the Lair of the White Worm?
No, it's a fun movie. If you're looking for something to watch with your buds, I think it's a pretty good time.
Yeah. Or the missus.
Or
your mom.
Or yeah, whoever. I think buds is inclusive of all of that. Are you not buddies with your mom?
No. I'm kidding. Yes. If you have Kevin over, just pop it on.
Yeah.
He'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Maybe play some Snakes and Ladders.
All right. This was fun. See you in a bit.
Yep, see ya.
Later, Harry. Bye.
Think he really